Everyone can hear me. Let's start our discussion now. Aarti, Ashwini, Ronit, Rupa.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
So we can discuss our first topic, next generation security platform and architecture.
Jitendra, would you be giving us the notes also for this training or
I already shared with you. Please check mail.
no, the one that you're gonna uh, teach in future also.
Sure, I will share.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's start our discussion now, everyone. So our first topic is platform and architecture. Let's talk about product family first, because if you guys are familiar with Cisco router and Cisco switches or any other vendor, okay, uh, for we have a devices for inter-level organization, we have a devices for mid-size network, or we can go with data center or enterprise network devices. In case if you are working with Palo Alto firewall device, you need to know which firewall is suitable for your organization. Okay, which firewall is suitable for your organization. So we have some hardware devices. These are hardware series in Palo Alto firewall device. We have PA 7000, 5000 series of the firewall devices. These firewall devices we are using for large deployment. We can use in a data center network. For mid-sized network, we can go with PA 3000 series of the firewall device, PA 3000, 800, 500 series of the firewall device. And for entry-level organization, we can go with PA 200 firewall box. Let me show you one physical appliance in Palo Alto firewall. One physical appliance. So Palo Alto 200. This is entry-level firewall box. Entry-level firewall box appliance. So you can see here we have some data interfaces. These are data interfaces. These are data interfaces. Yes, we have one console port like other devices, console port, and to access this firewall device through graphical page or through remote option, we can go with management port. You can connect your management PC, management laptop with this management port. And these are data interfaces. For example, one interface I'm connecting with internet side portion, one interface I'm using for DMZ side portion, one interface I'm using for LAN side network. So this is the example for PA200. This firewall series we can use in a small network, in an entry-level organization. For example, you are working with 50 computers, 50 devices, or 100 devices. You can go with PA200 or you can go with PA220. Wait, we have one more option, PA220. PA220. So this is PA200 series of the firewall device, but here we have data interfaces. Here we have 8 data interfaces. If you go with the PA200 firewall box, you have 4 data interfaces, but here we have 8 data interfaces, one management port, one console port. So this is physical appliance series in Palo Alto firewall box, physical appliances. Okay, this is, see, in slide I have some example. Okay, if you go with Palo Alto website, so you can find the data sheet for all the devices. Here we have paloaltonetworks.com. You can go with this URL, paloaltonetworks.com/product/secure the network/next generation firewall device. If you want to verify other Palo Alto products. Now let's talk about devices capabilities. Device capabilities, for example, we need to compare our devices, our products. For example, if you are working with PA200 series of the firewall device, then this firewall output is what? 100 Mbps. This firewall box you can use in a small organization, in an entry-level organization. You can see this firewall output is what? Firewall throughput is what? 100 Mbps. 50 Mbps into this firewall box. 50 Mbps is dedicated for threat prevention technique. What is threat prevention technique? So if you remember our topic discussion, if you remember our topic discussion, we have a topic. It's called content ID, or you can say next generation firewall feature, or you can say threat prevention technique. So for threat prevention technique, 50 Mbps is dedicated for threat prevention technique. This firewall can support 64,000 sessions. That's why we are using in a small network. It can support only 64,000 sessions. We have 4 copper gigabit Ethernet. We have 4 copper gigabit Ethernet interface. In case if you are looking for any high-end appliance, for example, this is not suitable for your network, then you can go with PA500, PA3020. You can see this PA500 firewall box. This firewall throughput is for 250 Mbps, and 100 Mbps is dedicated for threat prevention technique. This firewall can support 64,000 sessions. Yes, same option we have, but you can see into this firewall box, we have 8 copper gigabit interface. So you can compare your devices. You can visit Palo Alto website to compare all the appliances. Like for example, PA5000, you can see this firewall series can give you 5 GB firewall throughput. This firewall can support 2 Gbps for threat prevention technique, and it can support 10 lakh sessions approx. We have 12 copper gigabit Ethernet interface and 8 SFP module. So these are physical appliances, everyone. These are physical appliances, but like other vendor, Palo Alto is giving you option in case if you are looking for VM firewall box. If you are looking for VM firewall box like other vendor, like for example in Cisco FTD or in Cisco ASA, in Cisco FTD we have FTD. This is firepower threat defense. This is physical appliance. But if you have FTD with a small v, so this is complete next generation firewall box. This is complete next generation firewall box, but this firewall box we can use in a virtualization network. We can use in a VM scenario. So like other vendor, Palo Alto is giving you option. You can go with physical appliances or you can go with VM firewall box. These are VM firewall series. VM firewall series, you can see here we have PA VM 15, PA VM 100, PA VM 500, PA VM 1000 HP, 300. So either you can go with physical appliance, or you can go with VM firewall box. Clear my point, everyone? Aarti, Ashwini, Rupa.
Yeah.
Now, yes, Ashwini.
Yeah, understood. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? Two questions here. One is like under PA5020, there is the last pointer 8 SFP. What does SFP mean?
This is fiber port. This is a fiber port. Okay, if you go with the 10 Gbps connection, 100 Gbps connection, then you cannot connect with copper gigabit Ethernet interface. You require SFP port.
Okay. So that's the fiber optics port.
Yes, fiber optic. Yes, this is for fiber connection. Yes.
Sure. And under each, there is this second last pointer mentions that says 64,000 sessions,
Yes.
up to like a million session.
Yes.
So can you please explain the term sessions?
Session.
What do you mean by
Whenever
session?
traffic is traveling through the firewall device, remember our discussion? Firewall will maintain the state of connection in session table and state table. So whenever traffic is traveling through the firewall box, firewall will maintain the sessions, and these are the sessions. These are the sessions.
Okay.
For example, this PA200 firewall box can support only 64,000 sessions. That's why this firewall box we are using in a small network. Okay, this firewall can support approx 10 lakh sessions. 10 lakh sessions. That's why this firewall box we can use in a mid-sized network or in a big network. Clear, Ashwini?
Sure. Thank you.
Jitendra, I just wanted to know what is the definition of session? I mean, what exactly is session?
Whenever traffic is traveling through the firewall box, firewall will maintain the state of connection. For example, this inside machine is trying to go on google.com. For example, this is 8.8.8.8.
Okay.
When traffic is traveling from this source IP to this destination IP, when traffic is traveling, then firewall will maintain the state of connection in session table. This is one session, Arti.
Okay. Okay.
When this machine is trying to access, for example, facebook.com, here we have a server. It's a separate session, okay? And each session, see how firewall or any L3 device can differentiate sessions based on port number, okay? If you remember basic CCNA training, whenever devices will communicate with each other, they require source port number and destination port number. So based on port number, firewall can identify it is a session.
So irrespective of the duration that I'm on Facebook, it is considered as one session,
Yes,
right?
yes, one session, yes.
Okay. Got it.
Firewall will maintain the state of connection, yes.
Got it.
Now, this is physical appliance, everyone. This is VM firewall box. Now let's talk about Palo Alto architecture. Palo Alto firewall architecture. This is PA200, or you can take any firewall series. This is PA200 firewall box. So Palo Alto firewall box is using SP3 architecture to forward the traffic from one zone to another zone, from one interface to another interface. Firewall is using SP3 architecture, single path parallel processing, or you can say single pass parallel processing. It's the same concept. So this is Palo Alto firewall device, okay? This is Palo Alto firewall device, and Palo Alto firewall box is divided into two different planes. It is divided into two different planes, control plane and data plane. Control plane we are using for management. For example, your management port is a part of control plane. Management port is a part of control plane. If you want to access this firewall device, you can connect your cable with control plane, with management port. In control plane, we have dedicated CPU, RAM, and hard disk. So for management, we can use control plane. But for data traffic, firewall will use data plane. Data plane. In data plane, we have three separate processors. In data plane, we have three separate processors. The first one is signature match processor. Second, we have multi-core security processor, and we have networking processor. So in data plane, we have three separate processors. Whenever traffic will hit on any ingress interface, then Palo Alto firewall box will create a copy of this packet, and it will create three copies of this packet. And then it will submit to each processor, each engine. You can say engine, you can say processor. It will submit to each processor, and they will process the traffic. It is not like a UTM device anymore, okay? It is not like a UTM device. If you guys remember UTM device, Unified Threat Management. Any idea about UTM device? Unified Threat Management, everyone? Any idea about UTM device? Single box for all solution. UTM device. It's an old device, okay? For example, if I'm using any UTM device, so in a single device for all solution. For example, in UTM box, we have networking engine, we have antivirus engine, we have IPS engine, we have application engine. Multiple engines we have in a single box. So now when traffic will hit on any ingress interface, for example, if one engine will take 1 second, if each engine will take 1 second to process the traffic. For example, networking processor is taking 1 second, antivirus 1 second, next one 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So to process this traffic, you required 5 seconds. And this is not a parallel processing, okay? It's a one-by-one process. Networking processor will process the traffic, then it will submit to the next processor. Antivirus will process the traffic, then it will submit to the next processor. They will process the data, but it is one-by-one process. Now, Palo Alto or any next generation firewall device is not using this concept now. They all are using SP3 architecture. Single path parallel processing. What is SP3 architecture. In SP3 architecture, this is data plane. So SP3 architecture, it's called single path parallel processing. Whenever traffic will hit on any ingress interface, firewall will create 3 copies of this packet, and then it will submit to the each processor. They will process the traffic, but it's not one by one process. No, it is a parallel processing. For example, if signature match processor will take 1 second to process this traffic, multi-core security processor will take 1 second to process this traffic, networking processor is taking 1 second. This is not a one by one process. It's a parallel processing. It means it will only take 1 second to process this traffic. Only 1 second. They will process the data parallelly, not one by one. Let's discuss in detail about SP3 architecture. Wait.
So the speed of the transmission is going to be higher here as compared to the older one.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
So the speed of transmission is going to be higher as compared to the
Yes, UTM device as compared to yes. Okay, this page can help. Wait. So now I told you Palo Alto Firewall box is divided into 2 different planes. The first one is what? Control plane. Control plane. And the second one is what? Data plane. In control plane, we have management processor. In control plane, what we have? Management processor. But in data plane, we have 3 separate processor, you can say, or engine, you can say. Networking processor, security processor, and content processor. You can say content processor or you can say signature match processor. Both are same. Content processor or signature match processor. Now, what is the use of these processors? So, networking processor, wait. So, let's talk about each engine or each processor. Networking processor it is responsible for routing configuration, flow lookup, status counting, NAT, and similar function are performed on network specific hardware. Or for all networking related tasks, we have a separate processor is called networking processor. Now for user ID, app ID, policy configuration, encryption, decryption, we have a dedicated processor is called multi-core security processor. So whenever you are creating policy, you are looking for user ID, app ID processing, you require multi-core security processor. Now we have content ID processor, or you can say signature match processor. So for security profile, for this topic, for content ID, you can say, or for security profile, for next generation firewall feature, we have a dedicated processor is called content ID processor. Now control plane. In control plane, we have a dedicated processor is called management processor. Management processor. For all management related tasks, we have a dedicated CPU in control plane. Clear my point? Vivek, Tuhin, Ravneet,
Yeah.
Bridget. Okay.
Yeah, yes,
Now
clear.
let's discuss this point again, this control plane and data plane again. So as I said, Palo Alto is divided into 2 different planes, the control plane and data plane. Data plane. So for example, I have one Palo Alto firewall device, and with this firewall device, we have management port. So you can connect your management PC this side. Now we have also data interfaces. So these are data interfaces. So Palo Alto is divided into 2 different plane, control plane. Let's talk about control plane again. Control plane only for two traffic used for management. So for all management related tasks, we are using control plane. Control plane is also responsible for, it is also responsible for HA communication. For HA. What is HA? If you guys remember our topic discussion, we have failover concept, high availability. So in between firewall box 1, firewall box 2, I'm using HA port, HA1, or you can say control link, HA2. You can say data link. So control plane is also responsible for, it is also responsible for HA communication. HA communication, whenever you are configuring anything, for example, this is active box, this is passive appliance. Whenever you are configuring anything on active firewall box, all the configuration will replicate through this HA1 interface, through HA1, through this control link interface on firewall box 2. All the configuration will replicate through this HA1 link. And for this communication, control plane is responsible. Control plane is responsible. Control plane is also responsible for session synchronization. What is session synchronization? So for example, this box is an active firewall box 1, and all the traffic is traveling via firewall box 1. When traffic is traveling through firewall box 1, then it is a stateful firewall device. If traffic is traveling through firewall box 1, firewall will maintain the state of connection in connection table and state table. And this state table information, this connection table information, this session table information, firewall will exchange through this HA2 link. Through this HA2 link. This is called session synchronization. For session synchronization, control plane is responsible. Now for logging, so for any kind of log, control plane is responsible for any kind of log. For example, traffic is traveling through the firewall box. In case if you are looking for logs, for logging, control plane is responsible. So you need to put all your remote logging server. You need to put all your remote logging server in control plane side, in management network side. What we can do, we can connect a switch here. So management port, we can connect with a switch. We have management PC. Here we can put our remote logging servers. So by default, this is default option. Okay, we can put our, for example, syslog server. We can put our SNMP server, SNMP or syslog server in a control plane side, in management network side. But in case in your network, you have your remote logging server, to this side, to this DMG side network. Here you have your syslog server and SNMP server. So you can change this behavior, no problem. You can change this behavior, but by default, for logging, Palo Alto Firewall is using control plane. Palo Alto Firewall is using management port. For signature update, Palo Alto is a next generation firewall device. So to detect viruses, latest viruses, to detect application, to detect latest malicious link, firewall need to download all the updated information. And for signature update, Palo Alto is using by default control plane. So what you need to do, you need to connect a separate ISP connection. Separate ISP connection in management network side. For example, if this machine is trying to go on google.com, it's required IP address, mask, gateway, DNS entry. Same, if this Palo Alto firewall device is trying to go on updates.paloaltonetworks.com, then this firewall is also required IP address, mask, gateway, and DNS entry. So for signature update, Palo Alto Firewall is using by default control plane by default. But in case in your network, you don't have any separate ISP connection in management network side, you have a single ISP connection. This is your ISP connection. You have single ISP connection. So you can change this behavior. In firewall box. To download signature update, please use this interface, fast Ethernet 0/1. Clear my point, everyone? Control plane concept.
Yeah.
Now, what about data plane? Wait. So data plane used for through the traffic. Wait. So data plane is for through the firewall traffic. Data plane. Palo Alto operating system is known as PAN-OS. For example, if you are working with Cisco ASA, you can say Cisco IOS. In Cisco FTD, you can say Cisco FTD IOS. In FortiGate, you can say FortiOS. In Checkpoint, you can say Gaia operating system. In Palo Alto, you can say PAN-OS. Palo Alto operating system known as PAN-OS. It is a Linux-based operating system. Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall device. It's a zone-based firewall device. Palo Alto, Cisco FTD, and Checkpoint. These are, everyone, these are called JBF firewall device. Zone-based firewall. FortiGate is not a zone-based firewall device. Cisco ASA is not a zone-based firewall device. But Palo Alto, FTD, Checkpoint, these are called zone-based firewall device. So if you are working with any zone-based firewall box, you need to create all the information manually. Manually means what? For example, I have a Palo Alto firewall device. We need to create zone here manually. For example, this portion is your LAN side zone. This portion is your DMG network. This portion is your WAN side network. So you can create zone manually. You can assign your interfaces to respective zone to allow your traffic from one zone to another zone. You need to create policy manually. It's not like a Cisco ASA. If you guys remember our previous discussion, Cisco ASA, in Cisco ASA, by default traffic is allowed. By default traffic is allowed from higher security level to lower security level. But in Palo Alto, nothing is allowed. If you want to allow your traffic from one zone to another zone, you need to create policy. So Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall device. Zone-based firewall device. It's an object-oriented firewall device. Object-oriented. Palo Alto, FortiGate, Checkpoint, ASA, FTD. These are what? These are called object-oriented firewall. So here we can create object like IP address object, services object, range of IP object. We can create object here. And these objects we can use in our configuration. I will show you how to create object. But here we can create object. And these objects we can use in our configuration. Interfaces should be configured to respective zone because it's a zone-based firewall device. By default, any services like ping, SSH, and HTTPS are not enabled on data interface. Okay, here we have Palo Alto firewall device. These are data interfaces. These are data interface. This one is data interface. And we have management port. So by default, these services or any services not enabled on data interface. Nothing is allowed on data interface. But on management port, by default, these services are enabled. These three services are enabled: ping, SSH, and HTTPS. By default, these services are enabled on management port. So here on management port, we have default IP address 192.168.1.1. Same series of IP you can configure here on this management PC. For example, 1.10. From this management PC, I can verify my connectivity. To access through CLI, I can go with SSH option. To access with graphical page, I can go with HTTPS. So by default, these three services are enabled on management interface. Security policy should be configured to communicate between multiple zones because it's a zone-based firewall device. Traffic is always unidirectional from source to destination. So if you want to allow your traffic from LAN to WAN, you need separate policy. If you want to allow traffic from WAN to LAN, you need separate firewall policy. You need separate security policy. Now here we have policy-based forwarding. Policy-based forwarding. You can say policy-based forwarding, or if you remember in routing and switching, we have a concept PBR. PBR, policy-based routing. In router. In firewall, you can say policy-based forwarding. In Palo Alto, you can say policy-based forwarding. If you are working with FortiGate firewall box, you can say policy route. Policy route. So in Palo Alto, we have policy-based forwarding. Policy-based forwarding can be done which overrides security policy rule. Security policy rule. For example, for any source IP and for destination IP, source IP, for source and destination IP, we have some entry in policy-based forwarding. And for same source and same destination, we have some entry in security policy. So in security policy, we deny this traffic, but in policy-based forwarding, we allow traffic. So firewall, whenever traffic will hit on firewall box, firewall will go with policy-based forwarding first. It will check the information in policy-based forwarding. If information is available, if traffic is allowed, then firewall will not check security policy rule. Clear this point? Aarti, Ashwini, Rajat, Ravneet, Rupa, Vivek, Tuhin.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, clear.
Okay, now let's talk about packet flow concept. Packet flow, how traffic is traveling in Palo Alto firewall box. How traffic is traveling through the firewall box. And right now I'm giving basic idea. We'll discuss in detail, okay? We'll discuss in detail, but right now I'm giving basic idea how traffic is traveling through the firewall box. So this is Palo Alto firewall box. This is what? Palo Alto firewall box. Palo Alto firewall box. When traffic will hit on any ingress interface, for example, you have Palo Alto firewall box. This portion is your LAN side portion, fast Ethernet 0/0. This side we have machine, and this side we are using as a ISP side portion. Side we have a server, for example, 8.8.8.8. This inside machine 192.168.10.10. This portion is your WAN side portion. So my point is, when traffic will hit on any ingress interface, then Palo Alto firewall will do initial packet processing first. Palo Alto firewall will do initial packet processing first. And in initial packet processing, firewall will check source zone information, source IP address information, source user information. So firewall will check source zone, traffic source zone. Firewall will check source IP and source user. So as per our task, I'm trying to initiate my traffic from this 192.168.10.10. This 10.10 is trying to communicate with 8.8.8. Then traffic will go and hit on this interface. When traffic will hit on ingress interface, firewall will do initial packet processing. In initial packet processing, firewall will check source zone, source IP, and source user. So source zone is what? LAN zone. Traffic is initiated from LAN zone. Source IP, yes, 192.168.10.10. 10.10, it's a source IP. Source user, for example, user 1. So firewall has an information about source user, source IP, and source zone. Now, when traffic will hit on firewall box, it's a L3 device. It's a L3 firewall box. So when traffic will hit on firewall box, firewall will check his routing table. Firewall will check his policy-based forwarding, or firewall will check forwarding lookup, or you can say routing table. And based on routing table, firewall can identify, okay, you want to go on 8.8.8, Yes, I have a default route. For example, I have a default route towards ISP gateway. I have a default route towards ISP gateway. So because of routing table or behalf of routing table, firewall can find egress interface. Firewall can verify, okay, you want to go on 8.8.8? Yes, this ISP is a gateway. And to reach this 8.8.8, this interface, this fast Ethernet 0/1 is a exit interface. And this exit interface is a part of WAN zone. So based on routing table, firewall can find destination zone. What is destination zone? WAN. Now firewall has information. What is source zone, LAN zone. Based on routing table, firewall has information now what? What is destination zone? WAN zone. Traffic is trying to travel from LAN to WAN zone. And if traffic is traveling from one zone to another zone, then firewall will check, is there any NAT policy available? Because traffic is traveling from one zone to another zone. Traffic is traveling from private network to public network. So firewall is trying to identify, is there any NAT policy available? Because in Palo Alto, we have two types of NAT, source NAT and destination NAT. So firewall is trying to identify, is there any NAT policy available? Then it will go for security pre-policy. In security pre-policy, firewall will check allow port. Is there any port allowed? And if traffic is trying to travel, then firewall will maintain the state of connection in session table. I'm not talking about right now. I'm not talking about decryption policy, app ID, security profile. No. I told you, I'm talking about basic idea about packet flow. So session created, and if there is any NAT policy will apply, and then packet will forward to the egress interface. This is basic packet flow concept. Clear my point? When traffic will hit on firewall box, firewall will do initial packet processing. In initial packet processing, firewall will check source zone, source IP, and source user. Now you are trying to communicate with 8.8.8, you are trying to communicate with any other destination, then firewall will check routing table information to reach this 8.8.8. Is there any entry available in routing table? Yes. You have a default route towards ISP. So firewall can find, based on routing table, firewall can find egress interface. This one is your exit interface, and this exit interface is a part of WAN zone. So firewall has a destination zone. Clear, everyone? This basic packet flow concept.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, wait. Let's talk about initial configuration. For example, I have one Palo Alto firewall device. This one I'm using as a management port. So we can connect our management PC. With management port. We have a default IP address 192.168.1.1 on this interface 192.168.1.1. Same series of IP we can configure on here on this management PC 10.10. By default, 3 services are enabled. If you guys remember our discussion, by default, 3 services are enabled on management port. Ping, SSH, and HTTPS. Default username is admin, password is admin. Let me show you. Wait. Let me show you this initial or basic configuration. Okay, so I have a small topology. Okay. I have a small topology, one firewall box. Everyone, can you hear me? For basic implementation, we have a basic design. I have one Palo Alto firewall device. It's a new firewall box. Okay, new firewall box. I have one Palo Alto firewall device and one management PC for basic configuration. So you can verify here. You can double click on Palo Alto. It's a new firewall box. When you start Palo Alto in your lab, in EVNG software, it's required minimum 30 to 45 minutes to start properly. It's required minimum, it's need minimum 30 to 45 minutes to start properly. Palo Alto Firewall device in your EVNG software. So this is what CLI. You can double click on Palo Alto. This is your CLI page, console page. Console page. We can try to log username admin and password is admin. When you log in with your username and password, now you need to reset your password here. So old password admin and new password I'm using pass@123. Pass@123. Wait. So now we are in Palo Alto Firewall box. This is Palo Alto Firewall box. Like Cisco, you can type question mark here to identify all the commands into this mode. It is like user exec mode. You can see user exec mode, like Cisco router. User exec mode. To configure anything in Palo Alto Firewall box, you can go in configuration. And to go in configuration mode, you can type configure command. You can press enter. Now mode change, you are in configuration mode. If you want to go back, so you can type exit command here. Let's start our basic discussion. So I'm using this command first, show interface management. With this command, I'm trying to verify management interface IP. Show interface management. And we don't have any IP address on management port. IP address unknown, mask unknown, gateway unknown. If you don't have IP address configuration on management port, no problem. We can configure. So you can go in configuration mode. To configure anything, you can go in configuration mode and here you can type set device config. Set device config system type static. Why? Because by default on management port, DHCP service is enabled by default. So if you connect this management port with any DHCP server, it can get IP address automatically. I want to configure IP address statically here. That's why I'm using this command, set device config system type static. You can press enter. And now you can configure your IP address. As per our design, I'm using 199.199.199 network for management. So for IP address configuration, command syntax, set device config system IP address. System IP address. And here I'm using 199.199.199.1 net mask 255.255.255 ports. Press enter. In Palo Alto Firewall device, whenever you configure anything, Tuhin, can you please turn off your mic, dear? If you have any question, you can unmute, no problem. Now, in Palo Alto Firewall device, whenever you are configuring anything, you need to commit your configuration, just like a Juniper device. Like in Cisco, we have save config. In Checkpoint, we have save config. In Cisco, we have WR. In FortiGate, we have end command. In Juniper, we have commit. In Palo Alto, we have commit command. So whenever you are configuring anything, if you want to save your configuration, if you want to live your configuration, you need to type commit command. You can press enter and this will take time. It will take time. So let's go to management PC. Let's go to management PC. It's taking time. Okay, let's try to configure IP address on management PC. Same subnet of IP I'm configuring here on management PC. You can verify IP address configuration ncpa.cpl ncpa.cpl. I'm trying to configure same subnet of IP. Okay, I have same subnet of IP 199.199.199.20. Now you can verify in Palo Alto Firewall device configuration committed successfully. and there is no any warning message, error message, no. So we can verify now IP address configuration on management port. Command is show interface management. Show interface management. IP address 199.199.199.1 and subnet mask. So from this management PC, I'm trying to verify my connectivity. By default, on management port, 3 services are enabled: ping, SSH, and HTTPS. Let's verify from this management PC. Let's verify our connectivity. Ping 199.199.199.1, and I'm getting reply. If I'm getting replies, then you can open browser here. For example, I'm using Google Chrome. And we can try to access HTTPS colon 199.199.199. You can press enter. Click on advanced, click on proceed. And this is graphical page, everyone. This is a graphical page for Palo Alto Firewall box. You can type username admin and password. Password we are using pass@123. Pass@123. So this is console page. This is what? Console page. To access your firewall device first time, you can access through console page. Now this is graphical option.
This is similar to how we access the router page, right?
Similar like, can you repeat again?
Similar to like how we go ahead and access our router page.
A router page. Okay,
Like if,
you can configure your router with graphical page. Are you using accessing your router through graphical page, Ashwani?
like if we have to go ahead and configure our router settings, like if we have
Cisco
to
router.
change these.
Are you talking about Cisco router?
Yeah, any router.
Cisco router we can only manage through CLI. I think graphical page option is not available. Okay, Cisco routers we can access through CLI option, console option. Cisco router and Cisco switches. FortiGate you can access through graphical page. Ashwani.
Okay.
Ashwani.
Yeah, it's okay.
Cisco routers or Cisco switches you cannot access with graphical page. You can only access through CLI command. You can manage through CLI command. Clear now?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
If you talk about firewall box like Cisco ASA, FTD, FortiGate, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, you can access, you can manage through graphical page. These devices only. Now, can we take a break for 10 minutes, everyone? Vivek, Tohin, Shayukta, Rupa, Ravi,
Thank you.
Arti, okay.
Yeah, we can.
Let's take a break for 10 minutes only, okay? 6:50 on my side. We can continue at 7 p.m. Okay, please turn off your mic, everyone.
Okay.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Aarti, Ashwini, Rajat, Ravneet, Rupa,
Yep.
Hi, Jitu.
Viveen, Vivek. Okay,
Yep.
everyone, let's continue our topic now. Okay, so this is console page, everyone. Palo Alto Firewall console page. If you are trying to access your firewall device first time, then you can access through console page. Now we have graphical page access. This is Palo Alto Firewall graphical page access. 90 to 95% configuration you can configure with graphical page. That's why these firewalls are popular, because we can manage through graphical page. Now, into this graphical page, multiple options are available. We have dashboard, ACC, monitor, policy, object, network, device. Multiple options are available. Let's start our discussion with dashboard first. So dashboard we are using for monitoring. It's a common page. It's a common page for any next generation firewall device. It's a common page. Dashboard we are using for monitoring. So this is your dashboard page. This is your dashboard page. In dashboard page, we can verify some information, like we can verify journal information, log in admins, data logs, system logs. Let's talk about general information first. So this is Palo Alto Firewall Box. Device name is PAVM. Management IP, we are using 199.199.199.1. Mask, we don't have gateway entry right now. You can verify management IPv6 address. It's unknown right now. Model PAVM. Serial number unknown, because it's a VM firewall box and we are using only for testing. So serial number unknown. Now you can verify CPU ID, and VM mode is KVM model. Software version we are using 10.1.0. Application version, threat version, uptime, date and time, uptime information you can verify. Log in admin. Here you can verify all administrators information. Log in admin. So yes, one admin is managing this firewall device through console page. Yes, this is console page. Wait. One admin is managing this box through console page. So console option, and this admin is managing this firewall box through graphical page. This 199 from this 199.199.199.20 graphical page. This is admin account name. Admin. Data logs, no data logs available right now, because it's a new firewall box. System logs you can verify, config logs you can verify, log information, ACC, this factor information. So dashboard we are using for monitoring, and these options are available. These options are available by default. If you want to add more information in dashboard, you can go with this option. You can go with application. For example, I want to verify top application is traveling through Palo Alto Firewall device. I want to verify top high risk application here. Okay, I'm looking for interface information in dashboard. I want to verify high availability status in dashboard. So you can add. In logs, you can go with threat log, URL filtering logs. I want to verify in dashboard. You can add these options, and you can also arrange. For example, interface information. I want to verify this side, high availability. So you can arrange as per your requirement. This is 3-column option. This layout is what? 3-column. You can go with 2-column option, 2-column, or you can go with 3-column layout. So this is what dashboard. Let's talk about device tab. In device tab, let's go with the setup option. So you can go to device, then you can go to setup. So in device setup option, let's talk about management first. Management first. In management, we can go with general setting. You can click on edit button. You can edit this general setting. For example, I want to change this firewall host name. Okay, I'm using PA VM 888 something. Login banner you can set. Welcome to Palo Alto class. You can set your time zone, date and time zone. You can, as per your requirement, you can configure. Now you can click on OK. I told you, whenever you are configuring anything in Palo Alto Firewall device, you need to go with commit option. In CLI, you can go with commit command. In CLI, you can go with commit command. In graphical page, you can go with commit button. Here we have commit option. Whenever you are configuring anything, you need to commit your configuration. This configuration, okay? See, when you configure something, click on OK. This configuration is not available in Palo Alto Firewall device. You can see this is default hosting. Here we have default hosting, PAVM something. To live your configuration, to save your configuration, you can go with commit option. Commit, you can click on commit. This will take time. So whenever you are configuring anything in Firewall box, you need to commit your configuration. Here you can verify commit status, like operation commit status, active, result, pending, progress, percentage. You can verify your report. You can verify your detail. And if there's any warning message or error message, you can verify in comment section. So right now, status is active, result is pending. Once it commit, then you can check this commit status again. Wait. Now it's changed. Status is what? Completed. Results. Everyone can hear me?
Yep.
Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Let's continue our discussion. So now this is what? General setting. So now you can verify on firewall device. Host name is changed. Now we have PAVM8 or something. Let's go to management port. So you can go to device. Yes. Ashwini.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but like a basic question, you mentioned like 90 to 95% of the things can be configured through GUI.
Yes.
But I'm understanding, or I'm thinking like 100% of the things can be managed through CLI. Is that correct?
CLI. No, see, CLI is a difficult task, Ashwini. Okay. CLI is a difficult task. You need to remember all the commands. Graphical is a simple option. If you want to configure anything, just you can go with next, and finish.
Yeah, I understand that it's an easier option, but like
no one in a real network, no one will use CLI option. Okay, for only troubleshooting, you can go with CLI option. For configuration, you will always go with graphical page in any firewall device, Ashwini.
Okay. I was just about to ask, like, is there any sort of commands through which, like, we can just have a general overview of the dashboard?
You can take a help
and
with
the other
Google.
interfaces?
You can take a help with Google for CLI command, but I'm telling you 90 to 95% configuration in a real network, you can go with graphical page in any firewall box. In Palo Alto, I'm telling you 90 to 95% configuration, but if you go with Cisco FTD, 99% configuration, you can only configure with graphical page. CLI option is not available, Ashwini. In
Sure.
FTD.
Thank you.
In Palo Alto, yes, you have option. 5% configuration, 5% options, 5% you can use CLI option. But for 90 to 95% configuration, you can go with the graphical base. Same like in FortiGate. But in checkpoint, again in checkpoint 95% configuration, 99% configuration you can configure with graphical page. Clear now?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, now let's talk about management interface. So you can go with device, setup, and interface. This is your management port, everyone. This is your management interface. You can go to management interface. Yes, we are using 199.199.199.1 IP mask. If you want to configure gateway, IP, yes, you can configure. For example, gateway IP is 199.199.199.254. By default, these services are enabled by default. these services are enabled on management port. HTTPS, SSH, and ping. In case if you want to enable any service, no problem. Just select your checkbox. You can just select your checkbox. For example, I want to enable HTTP traffic, HTTP service. You can just select this checkbox. Just click on OK, no problem. Here you can add trusted host information, permitted IP address, you can say, or trusted host information. For example, a specific subnet can access this Palo Alto Firewall device, or only specific IP can access this Palo Alto Firewall device. You can add here trusted host or network information. For example, 199.199.199.24 IP. Only this IP can access /32. Only this single IP can access this Palo Alto Firewall device. Only this machine. You can click on OK. Whenever you configure anything in Palo Alto Firewall device, you need to commit your configuration. Now you can verify. This will take time. Let's verify IP address configuration on this management port, on this management PC. So we are using 199.199.199.20. And as per our configuration, only 24. 199.199.199.24. Only this IP can access this firewall device now. Let's commit our configuration first, then we can try.
So Jitendra, even for the user ID, for specific user ID, I would want to allow that also should be mentioned here.
No, you cannot mention IP user information. You can only mention IP address information here in Palo Alto.
Okay. Okay.
But in FortiGate we have option, Aarti.
Okay.
In FortiGate we have an option. You can mention username and IP address information. Now let's verify our connectivity ping. I'm trying to verify my connectivity with same IP 199.199.199.1. Now you can try to ping, and I'm not getting reply. I cannot ping this IP, this management IP. Yes, Ashwini?
Are you sharing your screen? I'm not seeing anything.
What
Is
about
that
others?
Ashwini, it's visible.
What about for others?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
visible.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
visible.
it's visible.
Okay, wait, let me.
Let me rejoin, sir.
Now, can you see my screen now? Ashwini?
No.
Ashwini, can you see my screen now?
It's refreshing. Yeah, I can see the command prompt now. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I'm trying to verify my connectivity with 199.199.199.1, and I'm not getting reply. I'm not getting reply. And if I'm trying to access this firewall device this time, 199.199.199.1, I cannot ping and I cannot access. I cannot access. I cannot ping and I cannot access. As per our configuration, only 199.199.199.124 IP can access this firewall device. Let's wait. See, I'm not getting reply. And I'm not getting graphical page here. Let's change IP address now. So ncpa.cpl properties, Internet Protocol TCP/IP version 4, and I'm using 199.199.199.24 IP. Click on OK. Click on close. Click on close. You can verify your connectivity this time. You are getting reply. You can refresh this page this time. See, you can access. This is what our login banner. Login banner. So now let's try to log in into this firewall device. Username, admin, password, pass@123. So to enable any service in management port, it's a simple task. You can go to management interface, just select your services. You can click on OK. You can commit your configuration. Wait, Okay, so to enable any service, we can go with device tab, setup tab, interface, and management. To enable any service, we can just select checkbox and click on OK. Now, in case if I want to enable any service through CLI command, then for example, this telnet service, I want to enable through CLI command. Then let's go with the CLI console. We can go in configuration mode and command set device config system service. You can type question mark here. You can get all services information. See, all services information. I'm trying to enable telnet service here. Telnet service. So you can use a command disable telnet. Disable telnet. No. Command is what? Disable telnet. No. You can press enter. So I'm trying to enable telnet service through CLI command. Whenever you change anything, you need to commit your configuration. Now let's verify it. Right now, I don't have any telnet service. Once it commit, we can verify it. Now we can verify. Let's refresh this page and we can verify now. We have telnet service. Clear this point, everyone? Telnet service now. Clear?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go with the slide. Palo Alto Lab Part 1. Okay, so we can use some CLI command here to verify. For example, this command you can use to verify management related information. For example, I'm looking for interface configuration. With show system info, you can verify journal information. Either you can go with graphical page on dashboard. You can go with this journal information. In case if you want to verify this information through CLI command, you can go with show system info. Let me show you. You can use a command show system info command. So we have same information: host name, PA, VM, management IP, mask, gateway. Same information you can verify through CLI command. To configure IP address on management port, we can use this command set device config system IP address, and mask. Now, in case if you are looking for default factory reset in Palo Alto, you can use this command request system private data reset. This command you can use to go with if you want to look, if you're looking for default factory reset. I'm not using this command, okay? I can show you the command, but I'm not using request system private data reset. You can press enter. It will restart your firewall device and it will reset all the configuration. Now you can restart your firewall box with this command, request system restart. To restart this firewall device through CLI command, request restart system. For shutdown, request shutdown system. Let me show you this command. Request restart system. You can press enter. Request shutdown system. Command you can use to shut down this firewall box through CLI command. I'm not using this command syntax because Palo Alto, when you restart your Palo Alto firewall box, it's required 30 to 45 minutes to start properly. So you can use these commands in your testing scenario. Okay, so to enable any service, you can use a command set device config system service. You can select your service information and no. Now let's talk about two type of configuration in Palo Alto Firewall. Two type of configuration in Palo Alto Firewall device: candidate configuration, and running configuration. What is candidate configuration? So whenever you are configuring anything in Palo Alto Firewall device, anything, if you are configure anything and if you just click on OK button, for example, you are creating security policy, you are configuring interfaces, routing configuration, virtual router, zone configuration. So whenever you are configuring anything in Palo Alto Firewall box, and if you click on OK button, then this configuration is not live. This configuration is available in candidate configuration. For example, if you change device host name, management. For example, I'm using PAVM 5555 something. Click on OK. Click on OK. So whenever you configure anything, if you click on OK button, this configuration is not live. This configuration is available in candidate configuration. Candidate configuration. And when you go with commit tab, when you commit this configuration, now this configuration is available in running configuration. You can verify now. Host name is PAVM555, but you can verify through CLI command. Host name is not changed. Here we are using PAVM888 something. So whenever you configure anything, if you click on OK button, configuration is available in candidate configuration. What is the benefit of candidate configuration? So as a firewall admin, I want to configure some policies, for example, NAT policy, security policy, other configuration. So I can configure, no problem. I will commit later. For example, I will commit in evening when there is no traffic is traveling through the firewall box. Then I will commit my configuration. So this option is available in Palo Alto. If you go with FortiGate, in FortiGate firewall box, if you configure anything, if you click on OK, configuration is live. Configuration is live in FortiGate. But if you go with the Palo Alto, if you configure anything, if you click on OK, configuration is not live. Configuration is available in candidate configuration. Candidate configuration. Now, in case if I want to verify candidate configuration data, for example, multiple administrators are working with this firewall device and they are configuring something. They will commit the configuration in evening, for example. I want to verify configuration available in candidate configuration. So you can go to device tab. You can go to config audit. You can click on config audit. Here you can compare. Here you can compare your running configuration and candidate configuration. Here you can compare. You can go with context. For example, I want to compare last 5 changes, 10 changes, 20 changes, or all. So I want to verify last 5 changes. Just click on go button. You can see now we have running configuration and candidate configuration. In running configuration, we have host name PAVM888 something. But in candidate configuration, we have host name PAVM555 something. You can also verify detail information, admin information, date and time information you can verify. So in candidate configuration, we have this information. When you click on commit, for example, when you click on commit, when you commit this configuration, now this configuration is not available in candidate. Now this configuration is live. This configuration is available in running configuration. You can verify now. Wait. You can verify now with 99%. Okay, yes. See, host name changed. Host name changed now. And if you compare again, because now we don't have any configuration in candidate configuration data. We don't have any configuration. So if you click on go button, if you are trying to compare, so we are getting this message. See, these versions are identical. Whenever you are getting this message, it means there is no configuration available in candidate configuration. Clear this point? Vivek, Sayukta, Rupa, Rachit.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about next point here. Wait. Let's talk about next topic, role-based access control. Next topic is what? RBAC. RBAC. We can create multiple firewall administrator account. We can create multiple firewall admin account. Topic is what? RBAC, role-based access control. We can create multiple firewall administrator account, multiple firewall admin. For example, I have firewall box. And to manage this Palo Alto firewall box, yes, I can create multiple administrator. For example, I am creating admin 1. I can create admin 1. I can create admin 2. I can create multiple firewall admin account. But to define level of access or privilege to each administrator, for example, admin 1 is my L3 administrator. I want to give him full privilege, full level of access, full access. Okay, whenever admin 1 will log in into this firewall device, he can do any kind of changes. He can do any kind of changes. What about admin 2? Admin 2, for example, is my L1 administrator. Yes, he can log in into the firewall device, but he can only verify the configuration. He cannot change anything. He cannot change anything. So to define level of access or to define privilege to each administrator, we can create in Palo Alto firewall device, we can create admin role. We can create admin role or we can create admin profile, you can say. Admin profile or admin role. For example, I'm creating L3 admin. I'm creating L3 admin profile. Just a name. L3 admin, just a name. Profile name, role name. Into this profile, I'm trying to add full privilege, full access permission. And this profile I can attach with admin 1. So whenever admin 1 will log in into this firewall box, he has full access. He can do any changes. For admin 2, I'm creating L1 admin profile, just a name. L1 admin, just a name. Into this profile, I'm trying to attach privilege or level of access. For example, read only. This profile I can attach with admin 2. So when admin 2 will log in, he can only read the configuration. He cannot change anything. So we can create multiple firewall administrator account. Let's go with the firewall box. And here we can go with these two options. We can go with administrators. We can go with admin role. If you click on administrators, so yes, we have default admin account admin. And with this admin account, we have default role super user. This is default predefined role. These are custom role, everyone. L3 admin, L1 admin. These are what? Custom role. And super user is a predefined role. If any administrator has super user role, super user profile, then admin can do any kind of changes. So here we have default admin account. With this admin account, we have a role what? Super user. Let's create some admin account. Before create admin account, we can create admin roles. We can create admin roles, or you can say admin profile. You can click on add. First, we can give a name for this profile. For example, I'm giving a name L3, just a name, L3 admin, just a name. L3 admin. And these are the options, see, dashboard, ACC, monitor tab. These are the options we have. Level of access, you can say. Level of access. You can click on any option. You can click on any option. For example, threat summary. If you click one time, see, you can go with enable option, read only, and disable. Everyone, please wait 2 minutes. Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So here we have what? These are privilege or level of access, you can say. You can go with enable option, read only, or disable. For example, if you click on any option, for example, botnet activity, you can click one time. See, it's a read only mode. If you click one time, disable. If you click one time, it's a enable. So you can go with enable, read only, and disable. So into this profile, I don't want to disable anything. Into this profile, I'm trying to give full permission. Everything enable. All the options are enabled. You can just click on OK. Now let's create one more profile. I'm creating L1 admin profile, just an email, just an L1 admin. Into this profile, I'm trying to disable, for example, I'm trying to disable policy tab. Policy tab, I want to disable. You can just click on policy tab. I want to disable. I want to disable object option, network, device tab. I want to disable commit option. So these options are disabled. Policy, object, network, and device. Just click on OK. So we have two custom profile. We have two custom role. You can click on administrator. Let's create some admin account. You can click on add. You can give a name for this admin account. For example, I'm giving a name admin 1. Password I'm using 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So you can go with dynamic option. Dynamic means what? Predefined role, super user. Here we have some custom roles, so you can click on role base. With this admin 1 account, I'm trying to attach L3 admin profile. Wait, I think I'm facing some issue. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. So with this admin account, I'm trying to attach L3 admin profile. Just click on OK. Let's create one more admin account. And I'm creating admin 5. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now role base. Yes, I'm trying to attach L1 admin profile. Just click on OK. So we have two admin 1 and admin 5. Let's commit our changes, commit our configuration, and we can verify. Okay, we can log out and we can try to log in with these admin accounts, admin 1 and admin 5. Wait. Now let's verify. You can log out. Here we have an option to log out. So you can log out here. And I'm trying to log in with admin 1 account. With admin 1. With admin 1, we have a profile, L3 admin profile. And if you guys remember, in L3 admin profile, we have full privilege. We have full privilege. Okay, this admin account can do any kind of changes, can do any kind of configuration. Let's verify now. So you can see all options are available. See, all options are available. Here we have admin name, admin one. This is admin one. Okay, I can go anywhere. For example, I'm looking for interface configuration. Yes, I can go to interface. I can select any interface I can configure. I can go with policy tab. Yes, I can create policies, NAT policy, security policy. Let's try to log out, and I'm trying to log in with admin 5 account. Admin 5. Password 123456778. Now, everyone, you can see now these options are not available. Remember policy, object,
Right.
network, device. These options are not available. Clear this topic, RBAC, role-based access control.
Right.
Is that clear for you?
Yeah.
Let's try to log out, and we can log in with main admin account. Admin, wait. Pass at the rate 1. Let's go with the slide. Role-based access control. Now we can go with DNS configuration. DNS config. Why DNS is required? Why DNS configuration is required in Palo Alto Firewall device? For example, you can verify here. I'm getting IP address information through DSL router. Okay, this is my physical laptop. I'm getting IP address through DSL router, and you can verify complete IP address configuration. I have IP address. See, wait. Okay, this is my Ethernet LAN card. Okay, so I'm getting IP address 192.168.29.100, IP address, mask, gateway entry, and I have DNS entry. DNS. Without DNS, I cannot communicate with google.com, facebook.com, or any website. Everyone, remember DNS concept? DNS will resolve IP to name and name to IP. To access anything, any internet website, we need DNS entry. Same, if this Palo Alto Firewall device, my point is, if this Palo Alto Firewall device is trying to go on updates.paloaltonetworks.com to download latest signature update. Let me show you. Wait. If this Palo Alto Firewall device is trying to go to updates.paloaltonetworks.com to download latest signature update, it's also required IP address, mask, gateway, and DNS entry. So for DNS entry, you can go with the device tab, setup. You can go with services, and here we have an option. Here we have an option to create DNS entry. For example, in your network, you have some DNS server 192.168.29.1 and 8.8.8.8. Yes, you can create your entry. You have two options. Either you can create your DNS entry through CLI command, or you can go with the graphical page. Let's go with the CLI command. The command is what? Set device config, system DNS setting, servers primary. So we can create primary DNS server information and secondary DNS server information. For example, primary DNS server is 8.8. Set device config, system DNS setting, servers primary. Primary is 8.8.8.8 and secondary is 4.2.2.2. For example, you can press enter. This is DNS setting. Whenever you configure anything in Palo Alto Firewall device, you need to commit your configuration. Now we can verify. Wait. We can verify. We can verify with graphical page. Wait. So this is the command syntax you can use for DNS configuration. Set device config, system DNS setting, servers, primary, and secondary information. Okay, let's refresh this page. Refresh this page. So you can verify now your DNS server entry 8.8.8 is a primary and secondary is 4.2.2. If you want to change DNS entry through graphical page, no problem. You can go with the device tab, setup, services, and you can edit. For example, I want to change DNS IP 192.168.29.1 as per my organization. This is primary DNS server and secondary is 2.2.2.2. Just click on OK. So you can go with DNS setting. Let's go with the slide. DNS configuration, graphical page. Now we can discuss dynamic update and software update. Can we continue our session in next class, everyone?
Yeah, sure, Jitu, no worries.
Everyone?
Yeah, sure. That's
Let's
fine.
continue this session in next class, okay?
Sure.
Next weekend, same time. Bye, everyone. Take care, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.